Greetings Nerdy List aficionados and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. We're getting topical, covering something happening now at 2019, the time of this recording. We're talking about DC's event that they claim is going to change everything. The Year of the Villain. It's happening, the covers are sporting the banners, so you know it's official. We're in it now. We're in the endgame now. So this event is thrusting the villains into focus, and we're going to be taking a look at some facts that could change everything. Emphasis on could. You know how things are in comics. Some changes hit and others fade into the ether. I'm Sasha and these are the top 10 DC Year of the Villain facts that will change everything. And again, by will, I mean could. Number 10. Ties into Metal Knights. According to Scott Snyder, who is very enthusiastically making the rounds, discussing just what the visions are for this new event, and he claims he has been planning this since Metal Knights, that the seeds were sown all the way back then. Creations like the Dark Multiverse, Perpetua, and the Metal Knights all tie into the Year of the Villain. So the Batman Who Laughs in particular has proven to be a breakout character, even getting his own limited edition miniseries, and he has set subplots in motion such as the Infected story arc. For those who missed it, the Dark Multiverse is a reflection of the main verse created as an underbelly by Perpetua, kinda, we're gonna break that down a bit more later. She is the first creator and mother of the Monitor and Anti-Monitor and the World Forger, and yes, this is a retcon. At first, the Dark Multiverse looked like a way to revisit pre-established multiverses but with a dark twist, and oft times with an evil Batman. Metal Knights was all evil Batman all the time. But it looks like this was all laying groundwork for a shake-up in the multiverse, and you know how DC loves, or rather feels the need to shake up their multiverse. So apparently they've been planning this change for a while. I mean, they just did Rebirth, so we'll have to see how much they actually do change. Number 9. Event leading to Crisis. So we need to go through some history to explain how the multiverse came to be. After the golden age of the dawn of superheroes, following World War II there was a superhero lull. The public wasn't interested in reading their stories, and they wouldn't have a boom again until the Silver Age dawning at the start of the 60s. With this age would come new versions of previously existing golden age heroes like the Flash and Green Lantern. But then DC did a crossover story wherein the golden age Flash met the Silver Age Flash, the Flash of two Earths, establishing the idea of multiple Earths. Over time this concept would grow to be used frequently and heroes would cross between Earths. Initially Black Canary came from Earth 1 and came to Earth 2 to be with Ollie, things like that. This was also a place to put characters acquired from other properties. They could get their own Earth, and also different versions of characters, like new ones from plots that had ended in the main verse but they wanted to revisit. So eventually it all got confusing and intimidating to follow, not just for the fans but for the writers. So an event was commissioned, Crisis on Infinite Earths. This happened in 1985 and would erase the multiverse and merge it into one, but that didn't solve all the problems, and eventually people came to miss the multiverse. So Infinite Crisis occurred, re-establishing it. A new reality was later launched in the New 52, then retconned with Convergence and Rebirth. In short, a lot has happened with the multiverse, and Snyder promises this event is going to lead to a Crisis on Infinite Earth style shakeup. I don't know, I'm scared, but at the same time some permanent movement would be appreciated. Surprise me. But we apparently have to wait 2 years for this all to culminate. Number 8. Heroes in Crisis. There have been many things leading into this event, which will make the DC Universe ponder if villains are the true evolution society is meant to take. But one mediation on this is polarizing to say the least, and it's Tom King's Heroes in Crisis, a writer who has gone from universally beloved, or so it seemed, to people acknowledging that he has his ups and downs, and the highs are high and the lows are low. Heroes in Crisis in a nutshell is about a sanctuary where heroes and villains alike can go and get therapy from a robot, who then erases their sessions, except it doesn't, and sends them to Batman, because Batman is paranoid and no one is keeping him in check. Of course, this leads to problems. Here the heroes are taken apart, some on point and others in ways that angered fans, such as spoilers now, Wally West becoming a murderer, or Hal Jordan saying he doesn't even know what Will is. It was not a very heroic outing for the heroes, and for some it makes them question the point of this event. Is it to build heroes up or tear them down? Some are tired of all the bleakness, but we shall have to wait and see. Could be a build-up. Also, in Heroes in Crisis, Harley beats the Flash. If you ever need proof that her character has gone off the rails and is just a character-protected Deadpool that not all writers understand has nuance for her, it's this. She could be so much more than she has become. Yes, I'm bitter, and yes, I know that's a massively unpopular opinion. I'm full of them. Haters gonna hate. Number 7. Marketing. Let's switch gears for a moment and talk about some real-world aspects of this crossover. Marketing. So one of the things these events are always intending to do is drive sales, and one of the methods they use to do this is to make you feel like you need to read everything, even comics you don't normally read, just so you know every detail. And they'll all have the logo on the top for a bit anyway, so you see them and you think, oh, I need that. But here's the secret, you don't really. Not all of them will tie in, and for some it will be a one issue before they go back to business as usual. So don't bankrupt yourself is what I'm saying. Comics are expensive these days, $4, $5, $6 a pop, and they're really not all worth it. DC has different strategies than Marvel, who just throw as many number ones onto the shelves as they can, because who can resist a number one? So DC does do this, but not to the same extent. I mean, we all know what Sinestro number 1 is. Number 6. Validating the medium. One of the things on DC's mind since Time Warner's acquisition by AT&T is to justify their existence. They are less profitable in comparison to some other branches. And Dan Didio, DC head, has actually come out and expressed frustration and concern over comic sales stagnation, particularly digitally, and the preference of older titles over newer ones. Manga sells more than comics, which many will tout as a victory, but at their base they're different industries. Hence, while outsiders may view them all as comics, they're actually rivals, though it may not appear so to those not embroiled deeply in the culture. Snyder has stated he has been meditating on just what this medium being comics, has to offer that others do not. And the answer is plenty. The very reason people started adapting them was because they were so popular independently and can tell stories in a scope and flair that few mediums can. I love comics, they 100% stand on their own, they shouldn't need to justify their existence. Number 5. New villains. So since this will be the year of the villain, expect to see new villains pop up, and also to see some characters return as villains. One being touted right now is Nora Freeze for Batman. However, this actually wouldn't be the first time this has happened. So back in the day, there was a Flash series called Gotham Girls, like Flash the animation style. It even featured the same voice actors as the DCAU animated series. The series had 3 seasons and ran from 2000 to 2002. They were all short episodes and some had little interactive Flash moments. The point is, in the last arc, it was all building up to the villain being Nora Freeze. So we have precedent. Some new villains would be nice, sometimes they overuse the core. Seeing a character less can make you appreciate them more. Number 4. Forever Evil. Now some of you may be saying, this feels familiar, I feel like I lived this. Was it another timeline? Have I been rebooted? Well maybe, but more likely you're thinking about Forever Evil. This was a year-long event that ran from 2013 to 2014 and was the first big crossover of the New 52. But this was a very different event that involved the crime syndicate from Earth 3 coming to take over the main Earth after the deaths of their Justice League. This leads to the Earth Zero villains trying to take them down, led by Lex. Hence some of the confusion because Lex is a big part of this one too. Year of the Villain has a much broader scope that actually retconned the multiverse's origin. Again, speaking of, number 3, the new origin. Get ready to take a trip to the 6th dimension. So let's backtrack again. In the beginning, there was the World Forge, which would become the Dark Multiverse, home of the World Forger, a cosmic being on par with the Monitor and the Anti-Monitor, key players in previous crises. It was here that worlds were created and stable ones went to join the Orrery of Worlds, while others were destroyed or repurposed. Eventually the one given the task to destroy them, whose name I don't feel like butchering, rebelled, and so the Dark Multiverse was born. And as a result of how it was conceived, it is said to be bigger than its positive verse counterpart. This is also a way for them to redo major story events in the Dark Multiverse, which they plan to for Halloween and beyond, with Kelly's fave, The Death of Superman, and Blackest Night. So as for the whole multiverse, it was created by Super Celestials, different from Marvel's Celestials, mostly in name. This was by Perpetua and others like her. This happened in the Omniverse. She had designed the multiverse to be a weapon, a breeding ground for dangerous, harsh creatures, but was imprisoned behind the source wall when her sons found out. This would mean that villains are actually what Perpetua intended, which leads us to our number 2. Number 2. Apex Lex. That's who Lex is now. He's completely embraced Perpetua's belief system, and he's even transformed himself into a Martian hybrid and taken on the name Apex Lex, thanks to his belief that humans are meant to be a species of apex predators. It's just fun to say Apex Lex, even though it's not very credible. Apex Lex. He is trying to set things in motion to destroy the heroes or turn them to their cause. He even sent out a worldwide appeal that he would give all villains the means they needed to destroy their villains. In fact, Snyder has stated he feels that Lex is the protagonist of the series, and that this is meant to be read as a quasi-tragic tale as it comes off the arc wherein Lex was trying to be a hero. But Snyder states that Lex's ego and his obsession with being above Superman will always be his undoing. How will the villains be changed once Lex is done with them? Well, we'll see. And can he survive this, or is this a bridge too far and we'll have to proceed forward in the Lexless DC? It could be really interesting. And number 1, Infected. This is what has people buzzing at the time of this recording, that the Batman Who Laughs has infected 6 heroes, well, good guys in the DC universe. And who could they be? It has slowly been revealed, but what does it mean to be infected? Well, it means seeing the darkest version of those heroes come to light. So far, 4 have been revealed. We've got Shazam, the Blue Beetle, Hawkman, and Supergirl. The last 2 remain a secret for now, but speculation reigns, and fans wonder if these characters will recover. Is such a thing possible? Who do you think it is? And has this whole infected arc piqued your interest? Do you need to be part of the Year of the Villain? So those were 10 Year of the Villain facts that could change everything. What do you think will change? Like post-crisis, again. I want to hear your theories, so please share down below. I'm Sasha, thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss another nerdy list. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.